I think the first records I had were tapes that like friends of mine made.
Sure.
Like I had, you know, standing on a beach, like this Cure singles collection. I had some U2 albums. I had a boombox that I used to just listen to. It was a Sanyo boombox, and I remember just listening to that like in my bed, going to sleep, and kind of like the Brian Eno U2 records. I didn't really even know who Brian Eno was, but now that I listen to it, I'm like, wow, that's a whole lot of Brian Eno on this U2 record, you know. And you know, that was early. My parents were really into music, so my mom was English. I think that had a big influence on me. Like she really loved, you know, the Beatles and David Bowie. And later on, when I got into things like T-Rex and Roxy Music, it seemed really familiar to me, because being English and going there as a kid. But also growing up in San Diego is really rock-centric, so I was just really into, you know, growing up and being like, well, I'm supposed to be a man, like, what's that, like, about? And, like, you know, it's like, well, you grow your hair long, and you listen to Led Zeppelin, and, like, you know, you get it, you know, it was like, you almost get into being, like, tie-dye shirts and incense before being punk, and then, you know, you get to be punk after that if you, like, progress, and then start going to local shows. That was really fun. Rocket from the Crypt was, like, a big deal in high school for me. I'd, like, you know, that was like more wardrobe. I had like 3 Rocket from the Crypt shirts and like a Mudhoney t-shirt, and like, you know, I remember my stoner friends from junior high being like, why are you wearing that? Like, you're not punk. Like, like, you know, you don't smoke weed. Like, why are you wearing these like rock shirts? And I don't know. And then moving to New York and kind of, you know, getting into dance music and just being really into music history and reading books and being like, wait a minute, like all this stuff happened like here, and then being obsessive record nerds, working at record stores and learning about 12 inches that you have to like look at the label and figure out what it sounds like by what record label it's on, and because I used to just look at a crate of 12 inches and have no idea.
Sure.
But then, you know, you kind of get an idea and you look at the year it was recorded, and you kind of, so it's really, you know, it's been a long journey. I don't know, it's like, it's a lot, you could really just go on and on.
We started it a while ago,
Okay.
and yeah, it probably was about 3 or 4 years ago, and we had a lot of trouble getting off the ground because we had a couple of distributors just fold on us. Like, you know, the record industry is going through a lot of stuff, so like the vinyl distributors, they just collapsed. So we finally got it going, and we did a deal through Contacts, which is a label we really like. And James is pretty much like spearheaded the whole thing. He really runs most of it because we're busy with the band. He kind of just, you know, we talk about things or artists we want to put out, and he'll find people and run it by us.
Sure.
But it's been great, and you know, the idea of it originally was just to put out artists that were, you know, like friends of ours in New York that we thought were really talented, that, you know, just to give them some exposure and put out music we liked, and we've been able to do that. You know, like the AKA JK release was our sound guy Jonathan, and he's a really talented guy, and he had that track, and I helped him work on it. Really was happy with the way it turned out, so we ended up putting it out. It's done well, and you know, the Populette is this guy Max Pask and this guy Andrew Potter, and they work together, and they've done some really incredible music and things, so it's been great.
In a way, for me, it's like, it's just a nice way to communicate with Vito and Gabe about what I like. I mean, I think if you look at, like, no one reads our blog, like, you know, like, besides us, but, like, a lot of times it's just like, oh, cool, Vito's, like, into this thing, then I'll go check it out, or, like, it kind of keeps me in touch with my band and other people can read it, but it's just kind of like, I don't know, I think the main thing that I loved about music, like, you know, growing up and being into, you know, Nirvana, Pavement, and Fugazi, like, it was like knowing about what they were into and learning about what their music is. So for me, that's the kind of what I would want to do. Like, that's the kind of blog I would want to read, you know? Like, it's like, well, I like this band, so, like, what are they into? I was like 17, calling my friend the Dungeon Master on the phone and playing for like 3 hours, who's still one of my best friends to today. You know, he works at Amoeba Records in Berkeley, and he's like, just like been a really good friend. But I mean, I think there's a certain obsessiveness that goes into collecting records, and a certain narcissism, you know, and
Absolutely.
like, And D&D is just like, you know, rolling characters for hours. Like, oh no, this guy doesn't have a good enough constitution. Just, you know, kind of cheating at it and stuff, and then feeling bad about it. There's, you know, it was fun. Like, it was really fun.
Well, thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, and have a great show tonight.
All right, thanks, man.
Thanks a lot.